it's Jen Turrell here in my little office at home. So I thought I would hop on Periscope though to talk about my new favorite tool for debt reduction. If you are not in the US, I've been told that this doesn't work in the US, so I have another option if you are not in the US that you can use. But what I really like right now, I'm going to flip my camera around and show you my screen. It's this new app called Ready for Zero. And here's Ready for Zero like that. Let's see what the URL is exactly. I'm pretty sure it's just Ready for Zero. I clicked on how it works. So it's readyforzero.com, how it works. And what I really like about this is the way it displays things to you. So if you can see this, these little dots, see what it shows you is your different, let me get my cursor. See, it's listing different credit cards in here. And these little dots show you the payoff dates with the month or year right there. And it shows you how much cash you have in the accounts you're working on, what your daily interest that you're spending on debt. I put my mortgage and car payments and everything in here so I could see the overall total picture of my debt. Of course, when you're paying off a mortgage, it's going to be, quite a few years that it goes out here. Whereas if you're just doing credit cards, it could be a few months. It also shows you your credit score and gives you tips for making it better. And what I really like, let's see, it talks about the visuals, tracking your credit. It does give you some ideas of whether it thinks you should consolidate your debt or not. And another thing that I really like is what it does is, so it pulls in, you put your accounts in there and it pulls in the information. It checks which ones have the highest interest rate, and it goes ahead and does the snowball for you. Well, I'll be honest, it's not doing a snowball, it's doing the avalanche technique. So the difference between the snowball and the avalanche is, with the snowball technique, you pay off the smallest total principal amount first, even if it may have the lowest interest. So say you have some debt that's like 0% interest or 0.5 or something really low, you could carry that much longer and pay off this 18% or 20% debt over here. So what Ready for Zero does is it gets you to pay off your highest debt first and pay close to minimums on everything else. Or if it's your mortgage and your car payment, like one of our car payments is at 0.9% because we got one of those promotional rates and had really good credit. So even though it's a 5-year loan, I don't have any desire to pay that off early because even my home mortgage is a higher interest rate than that car. So I'm going to make that the last thing that we pay off, the lowest interest rate. And Get Ready for Zero does that for you. And I also do like that if you want to put your mortgage and everything in there, you can see the complete picture of debt. Because while debt is a tool, it's kind of a dangerous tool. I think everyone who's ever gotten into any kind of debt trouble knows that and can feel it, that while yes, it's there and we use it, and Americans use it in ways that a lot of people in other countries don't use it, it's so easy to get in trouble. So for myself, my goal is to eventually get completely out of debt. Obviously, the mortgages, which are leveraged by the ownership of the property, are less urgent to me than consumer debt. I mean, any kind of consumer debt, which for me includes the cards too, even though there is something you own at the end that you could sell. I would like to get to where I'm not paying that daily interest, because the interest just goes, it's pretty much, you're paying for time is what you're paying for. And if you think about the interest that you pay over your whole life, which I'm going to pull another image up, I really I got it for myself because I used to send people to bankrate.com where you can go through snowballing the debt, but it takes a lot more hands-on and entering things in. If you go to Ready for Zero, it does a lot of that for you. So I'm just going to pull up an image here that I wanted to show you guys. Let me make it a little smaller before I return. Okay, here we go. So I called this Why You Need a Tax Strategy, but it's also why you need an interest strategy. I'm using it myself, and I check it pretty frequently because I usually make chunk payments. We do use our credit cards. We have point cards, so a lot of times will run big expenses through the credit card and then pay them off in full immediately is what I always try to do, so that we get the points, because we do use it for traveling. My husband's British. We didn't go overseas this year, but last year we did. We try to go visit his family as often as we can. And my goal is to not pay for travel. So often between the different cards that we use for different things, we have, manufacturing for our record label. We do have some ranch expenses. When I can put things like that through it that I have the cash in the bank for, then it just seems like we're getting free points. I think the problem is that any of us can get off with that. We can anticipate more income than's coming in, spending money before you have it. I mean, that's kind of the American issue with debt, isn't it? But let me show you this image real quick so you can see my main issue with debt. Okay, you ready? Okay, so what this shows you, this is how much the average American pays in taxes, and this, of the remaining 45.6%, 34.5%, or 17.25% of your total lifetime earnings, for the average American, that's paid in interest. So you can see here, this is taxes. A little more than half of what you make over your lifetime goes to taxes. And then that percentage goes to interest, which again, it's not as big as taxes, but it's significant. It's significant compared to the remaining. And so what you're left with, if you pay what the average person pays for taxes and interest, you're only left with 28.5% of your lifetime earnings to build your wealth and complete all your goals and have your lifestyle and get financial freedom, hopefully, for retirement. So that's part of why I think we all need to get good accountants, especially if we have home-based businesses, to reduce this tax as much as possible. Also use strategies like making work vacations, making your travel part of your business whenever possible, and deducting home costs if you can for your home-based business, things like that. And then this part, I mean, this is something that, imagine if that was zero. I mean, look at how much more of your lifetime earnings you would have, even if you didn't manage to reduce your taxes. Borrowing really does cost us over the course of our lifetime. I'm going to turn this around again. So while it's a tool that enables us to do things that we couldn't do without it, I mean, there are times when cash flow gets backed up and, you know, without using credit, you could lose your business or your home or something like that. You know, there are definitely times when it makes sense, especially if there's something coming soon, and times when you want to make capital investments in things and start new projects, do new things. It totally makes sense to have available credit, but actually using it and paying that interest, you know, even if it doesn't seem like that much, oh, I'll just keep it on for a few months, it adds up over our lifetime. And for a lot of people, you could make more than you would by getting more clients or having a raise just by getting some strategies in place to pay off the debt, the highest interest debt first, and to reduce your taxes as much as possible. So while Get Ready for Zero does not in any way address your taxes, getting a good CPA will if you don't have one. And getting something like Get Ready for Zero can help you with that interest. Now, if you're not in the US and you can't use Get Ready for Zero, I've been told by Canadians and people in the UK that they can't use it, you can go to bankrate.com, and there are a number of places where you can enter in all of that same information, all of your loans, mortgages, everything all together, and then look over the course. It'll give you sliders where you can slide how much payments you're making on each of those things. And it'll show you the length of the payoff for each one and the total amount that you'll pay in interest. What it doesn't show is that daily interest, which I really like. Because, you know, a lot of people talk about reducing, you know, that latte factor. I think it was, let's see, who was that guy who wrote Smart Women Finish First? David someone. I'm forgetting his name right now. But anyways, he came up with a latte factor, which was give up your daily latte, and a few other things to secure $10 to $15 a day that you can put towards your savings, right? Well, for a lot of people, they might be paying $10 to $15 a day in interest on all of their loans. Once you're at that point, obviously it's going to take some time to work those loans down. But just doing that over the course of a couple years from now, you could be saving $10 to $15 a day just by not paying the interest on all of those loans. And the interest, you're not even getting coffee for it, right? All you're getting is time. It's stuff you've already bought and paid for and you own it, but you're paying over time for the privilege of having it before you had the money to pay for it. So I would rather see people pay off their debt, not be paying the creditors, and go ahead and have a coffee every day or every other day or however you want, or get a massage every now and then. You know, do some of these things that actually make your life feel better and happier instead of paying the creditors their interest. I also feel like for women in particular, because of the way we're sort of culturally the culture is kind of biased in terms of the media towards making women consumers. Like, we are marketed to very differently than men are marketed to. And society kind of assumes that we are going to be the spenders and that we are going to get into debt and that we're going to do these things. And I feel like we need to stop that. It's part of women taking power over their own finances and getting financial freedom. As long as we're buying things always before we have the money to pay for them, we're not going to be free. We are going to be shackled by debt. And we do choose to do it. We choose to take out loans and we choose to put things on our credit cards. I've done it too. We all have. A lot of us have mortgages, have different kinds of debts. But we don't have to. And when we do that, when we get rid of those debts, we can get rid of that daily percentage. Let me show that again. I totally love it. Just in case I saw a few more people got on here since I showed the Get Ready for Zero, where it shows your daily interest that you pay. That was really interesting for me to look at myself with our mortgages and car payments and different things. Here, I'm going to flip the camera around again so you can see it before we finish up. Okay, so on here, this is the example that they have on their website. So it shows the cash, it shows a couple of debts here, and right here it shows that daily interest that you pay every day, $119. Now that's not too bad, that's not a ton. But like I was saying, if you get, you know, 10,000 here and 15,000 there and 20,000 there between car loans and credit card debt, you could be paying $10 a day in interest. And it's good to know that. It's good to know that just by paying off your loans, you could be saving that much every day. And that amount that you save, that can go towards building your wealth, as well as, you know, giving you a few luxuries in life, like the coffee that everyone wants you to skip. Hey, so thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you soon. Bye.